Welcome to the 1UP 1Breakdown podcast. I'm Kid Shadow.
I'm Josh.
And I figured since it's our first episode, what better way to kick off the podcast than to do a 3x3 showing you guys the games that we picked that define us as people.
They're not necessarily anything that are our favorites, but just truly games that we loved and wanted to show you who we really are.
The fun part is neither one of us know what we picked, so we're going to see this together for the first time. I have an idea of what he's going to pick. We'll see if it's actually accurate.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, so we're going to start with mine first. Don't call me old just by looking at it, but yeah, I think obviously, based off my tattoo, first one on the list is going to be Final Fantasy VII, the OG. That game was like everything for me. The leap that 1 through 6 to 7 was just so different. The combat was just absolutely like the whole summons, the materia. It was just next level for me, and that's a game that I'll never forget. Another, Squaresoft, because it wasn't even Square Enix. Yeah. Squaresoft classic is Xenogears. This is a game that is heavily slept on that most people don't know about. It's like robots, and your robot is the robot that was designed to kill God.
Really?
Yeah. So it's pretty freaking cool. You're the God killer, and that's like the whole point of the game is you're trying to kill God with your machine. By the end of it, you try to run from your destiny. But you can't escape it.
It feels like a lot of those JRPGs, what it comes down to is you start as this very small thing and then you're killing God at the end of it.
Yeah, no, pretty much. That's exactly what that game is. He doesn't want to do it. He just wants to be a painter. He's like, I just want to paint. And then he's like, okay, I guess I'll kill God.
I guess I'll save the world.
Yeah. Third on the list is Mega Man X2 for the SNES. That game, I remember playing that as a kid. That was my first Mega Man X game. And it was at my cousin's house because we didn't have a Super Nintendo. I played the shit out of that game, dude. I spent so many hours playing that game, finding all the different armor pieces, the boss upgrades. That game is just an all-time classic for me.
Of the ones up here, there are 3 that I have not played, and Mega Man's one of them. I've heard so much about it and even seen playthroughs of it, but I just know it just means so much to a lot of people.
Mega Man X2 is really cool. X3 was definitely like the weirdest of all of them, in my opinion, for the first 4, but that series, like the X series, is great. Even like Mega Man, the OG, like so many people will be like, oh, the OG is better than the X series. It's great, but like Mega Man 8 was my favorite from the OGs, so that's the closest thing to the X series, so it just kind of makes sense.
I haven't played any of them. I've started going through all of those Final Fantasies, and like you were saying, with the jump from 6 to 7, it really did cement it as a really big improvement over the 6 had that Esper system where you had to level up and get these Espers, and the materia system is just a big upgrade over that, and everything is really just a massive upgrade.
Just even that generation of gaming, it was a huge leap. Like even from, Super Nintendo to what was it, the N64 was the next generational leap.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even close.
It's crazy.
Next on my list is going to be the OG Metal Gear 1. I played this game with my brother growing up so much. I loved how intuitive the game was. Use the back of the game case to find Meryl's code. Dude, we spent hours running around the game being like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And then I remember back then it was AOL. It was dial-up internet. Yes, I'm a boomer. We tied up the landlines to look, and it was like, just look at the back of the CD case. And I was like, you can fucking do that?
Yeah, right.
Like that's legal, But the story's amazing. The music is awesome. Snake is just a badass character. And that game paved the way for many more successful games and the start of just an amazing franchise.
It's interesting for people that have played games after the internet has started. When you have something like that with what Kojima did before, you wouldn't be able to find all this stuff. No. So you'd have all of these crazy theories. Like a very common one is like Master Hand is playable in Smash and that stuff. Just all these like schoolyard theories that started. Like it was such a weird thing, and that's a really good way to give a different experience with a game that's very unique.
Dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine if the internet didn't exist and they made Metal Gear and you bought the game and you could never figure it out? You spent $50 on the game and you just never looked on the back of the case. And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, there's no case. You just have a digital version, but you can't look it up, and you're like never being able to find it.
That would have been the ultimate troll. Next on my list is Star Ocean 2, another JRPG classic from the PS1 era. They did remake it actually end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. which they did a fantastic job with the voice acting and everything. But Star Ocean 2 is a really freaking cool game because everything in that game dictates the ending. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 63 different endings based off who you talk to, what you do in the game, what you don't do in the game. And that was the first time I ever played a game where everything was so important to the outcome. And talk about like replayability. I think I only beat the game like 3 times before I was like, eh. So you couldn't even tell me about the other endings. I wouldn't be able to answer. I never looked it up either, but the combat was really cool. Characters are awesome. Definitely dated on graphics for today's day and age. Most people are going to see it and be like, the hell is this? You know, but
yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those PlayStation games, it's right around that era where it's a little too old for people that are newer coming in. Like really right around between 94 to like 98 is kind of when I feel like it's a lot easier to get into those older games and they just age a little bit better.
What's crazy is I can't play modern games that look like that.
Oh, really?
So if a new game comes out that looks like that, I personally don't have an interest in it.
So have you played any of those indie horror PS1 looking games? Do those also just not do anything for you?
I don't know. There's something weird about it. Like I could play literally like Tomb Raider 1, you know, pixelated like Lara Croft boobs and be all about it, right? And then like if I see a new IP that I'm not invested in, I can't. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, eh.
There is something about it being something from your childhood or something that you did at an earlier time, and going back to it is definitely a lot easier than coming to a graphic or an art style like that nowadays when you're totally new to the IP.
I also feel like the storytelling though was a lot better back then. And I know I sound like a grumpy boomer again, but some of the storytelling aspects in older games were a lot better because they didn't have to worry about things like graphics, because once graphics were capped at what you could do, you had to go to the next thing to entice you.
Yeah.
Games today are so graphics heavy that I feel like they waste so much time trying to make a game look great that sometimes certain games will end up a little bit more hollow with the actual story.
And a lot of older games too are the story is very simplistic, at least a lot of early into it. Like Final Fantasy VI is one I went through, and that story starts off very, very simple to where things aren't really explained. Just kind of you just go, and then it does become a bit more complex and a little more interest. Like you see the good parts of the story a little bit later, but earlier, like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. All right, we're doing this, and there's no real like explanation or determining motive for a lot of those things right away. It's an interesting way that storytelling's developed in video games since then.
1000%. On the opposite side of storytelling, next on my list is Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the PS3. I shit on so many kids in this game forever that it had to be there. It defined the toxic side of my gaming. I literally have probably said some of the meanest things to people in that game and just shit on so many kids that it will forever hold a place, more than Modern Warfare 2 even. That game was the first multiplayer shooter game I ever played in my life. My brother and I found a way to connect our PS3 to the internet. And when we figured that out, it was GG's, game over. Like life was never the same. We're like, holy crap. Like playing with other people is amazing.
Yeah, that's right around that era where online shooting really became a big area. And Modern Warfare is what really changed the game with those kind of games. Like especially Call of Duty, going from 3, which was still World War II, like into something that's fully modern. Like it hadn't really been done for that franchise before, and that's where everything started to really take off for Call of Duty.
I was so tired of the World War II thing from like Medal of Honor and every other freaking game, because it was always World War II, that when they did Modern Warfare, I was like, holy crap. I was like, that's a real gun, not like like fill out the lead and
and using the Garand with the ping at the end of it.
Dude. Because like it was fun. I had a blast of those games, but it was just there was something different about it. So.
Yeah, they only did World War II up until that one, and it was just a huge shift.
Yeah, the other thing though too is I remember the trailer when they first showed it off and they had like the night vision. I was like, holy crap, they like that's a thing in games?
Yeah,
like, dude,
right.
You talk about that now and you're like, yeah, whatever, night vision, you know? So it's crazy. That game's amazing. Next on my list is Dark Souls 3. I know everybody's probably like, what do you mean, not Elden Ring? I love Elden Ring, but there's something so magical about Dark Souls 3. It had the best music, some of the best bosses. I loved the areas. I'm maybe in the minority with this opinion. I loved how linear it was. because if you're new to Souls games, especially the way I was when I jumped into it, it was nice to have a path to follow while getting your ass kicked. You know what I mean? I didn't have to worry about going to the wrong area to get my ass kicked. I knew where I was getting my ass kicked.
I think there's been just a giant shift in a lot of games taking open world that don't necessarily need to. And then when you get to, I hate to use the term fatigue with it, but
I fucking hate that word.
Open world fatigue. No, but there are some games where it would benefit being linear that are open world. And so now there's so many of them that try to do open world, try to bring this vastness of the map to the table that sometimes now you get a linear game. You're like, oh, finally, now I just play the game and go. I don't have to really spend all this time
Assassin's
looking.
Creed.
Yeah.
God, dude, that game could definitely benefit from more linear. There's too much bloat.
Yeah, just a little bit.
There's too much.
You could have cut out probably 30% of the game and had the same experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next on my list is the Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest, specifically that one. When I first bought my GameCube, I got it for $100 at a place called Circuit City that doesn't exist. RIP. I bought this game for like $6 at a store called like Game Crazy before I even owned the GameCube.
Really?
Because I was like, dude, Ocarina of Time, like, holy shit, you know, the monumental game. And when I finally got my GameCube, I beat the entire game without a memory card because we couldn't afford one.
Really?
Yeah, I never turned the GameCube off, and I played through the entire game.
It
was insane.
That is crazy. I have that just unlocked a memory of mine. Back in the day, my parents didn't necessarily want to spend full money to get me games, so they would buy me sometimes some games from eBay. My dad got me a copy of Ruby and then also Pokemon Ruby and then also a Fire Emblem game that way. But they were not US copies, so I couldn't save the game. So I was only able to play as long as it lasted on my Game Boy.
I'm surprised they worked.
They worked, and I think the language was correct, but I physically couldn't save the game. It just wouldn't work.
That's crazy. Not to derail, but I played one game that was kind of like that called Boktai Power of the Sun. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was a Game Boy game. It had a sensor where you had to... It was Boktai, the power of the sun. You use the sun, solar power, to charge the game so you can actually play in the game.
Really?
If you ran out, you had to like
had to go outside.
Yeah,
cool concept, grass.
But it fucking sucked. Yeah, it was the same thing. It was like this foreign game that we couldn't actually get to work, like half of it. But last on my list is The Last of Us Part 1. It was the first PlayStation 4 game that I bought. I knew nothing about it. Literally nothing. I just was like, oh, this game looks kind of cool. It was right when the PS4 dropped, and I didn't even know about it for the PS3. I'd never heard of the game. I just blindly bought it. And I remember I sat there for like 8 hours straight the day that I bought it, not knowing what the hell I was in for, what masterpiece I just bought. That game, the storytelling, the pacing, the combat, the environment, it just gives me goosebumps when I think about the first time I played it. And I remember when it finally ended, it hits so much harder for me now as a dad. I couldn't imagine the idea of not losing your kid once, but seeing someone that you feel is like taking that role and then coming to the terms, are you going to let them die again?
It really was, the way they painted the end, a very interesting... He's faced with this almost impossible choice, potentially save the world. They don't even 100% know if they could create this vaccine, or let your now daughter die again. It's crazy.
Yeah, but Joel's kind of a psychopath.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
He's a fucking... Dude, he's a psychopath. This dude's just running around from state to state, just murking everybody on a whim. And he's just like, I don't even care. Like, this is Tess's job. Like, dude, it was... When you really look back, he was actually the bad guy in a lot of instances.
He was in no way, shape, or form a good guy, and that's like why he went with that whole route. He's not your hero.
He's not. He's that guy's... He probably would stab you if he came across you.
I have actually kind of a funny story of when I started playing The Last of Us. I didn't have a PS3 when it came out, and I'm like, I've heard so much about this game. I heard it's good. You know, I'm just gonna watch... I think it was Markiplier play it. I watched the first episode that he did. It got to the end of the intro. I stopped and like, I have to play this game. I went out, I found a way to get a PS3 and bought the game just so I could play it myself, and it was so worth it.
I didn't even know it was a zombie game though. That was the crazy part. I was just like, okay, it's like a shooter kind of. I was like looking on the back, and yeah, dude, they outdid themselves. And man, I'm probably gonna get chewed out for what I'm about to say. I love this game so much that when they remastered it, and then people were like, this game isn't that old, it doesn't need a remaster. I was like, I know, but it looks a little better. I'm gonna buy it. Yeah. I bought it. I bought it day one. That game meant that much to me. Maybe I'm a jackass for doing it, but whatever. At least I admitted it.
I bought the remaster, beat it at the remaster so I could unlock the hardest difficulty, so then I could then beat it on the hardest difficulty. So I'm right there with you, man. I'm in the same boat. I'm in that group of people. You're like, why do you keep buying all these remasters? Yeah, that was me too.
It was so good, dude. All right, that's it for my list. That's my top 9 like games that I feel kind of define me as a gamer on multiple different levels. Let me know what you think of my list. If you hate my list, you agree with my list, or if you like Josh's list coming up better than mine.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at mine. So we're going to start off. I feel like this game is also similar to The Last of Us in that it is a game that is peak story and characters, but the combat is what kind of leaves it lacking. That's The Witcher 3. It is my favorite game of all time. I've 100%ed the game. I've beaten it at least 3 times. It's just a fantastic game. If you like story at all, it's definitely one that you have to go through. They have a card game in there called Gwent. Have you heard of that?
No, I've never even played The Witcher 3.
You should definitely play it.
It's one of those games that's forever been on my list. Everybody's like, dude, you need to play it. It's amazing.
So
I just never did.
Yeah, it's a time investment for sure. It's a game that you're going to feel like you got your money out of it. But Gwent, they made a standalone card game because people loved the card game so much. So in that game that people love is a card game that you also love. And then you want to go through and you have to, like some Yu-Gi-Oh! Ass shit where you have to go in and beat other people in the card game to get a card from them to complete your deck. And then there's a big quest like towards the end of the game where you have to beat the most difficult card like player.
I love those kind of FF8 and FF7 Rebirth literally had that same exact thing. I love that. That's like those kind of things in games. I'm all about it.
It's great, especially because of how good and simple that one is. Like it really, it takes a little bit to learn it, but then once you do, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is another game that I think you have a good chance of liking. That's Persona 5.
Yep.
Have you played any Persona game?
Nope.
Okay. Persona is so uniquely it. There's other games that do other elements of it, but none of them mesh them together as well as Persona. And Persona 5 is where they really hit on every part of it. So just to go over what the game is, it's like 1/3 life simulator as like a high school student. Another third dating simulator. And then the last third is dungeon crawling turn-based RPG.
Okay, that sounds cool. It sounds like an average JRPG.
It is. It's so you go like your high school kid by day doing this dungeon crawling thing at night usually. So, but this is the one where they really hit on the dungeon crawling aspect because there was this kind of disconnect where it's like, yeah, you have this dungeon crawling thing, but it doesn't feel like it fits the story. That one, all the gameplay feels like so cohesive and that you're doing things for a reason that the dungeon crawling aspect fits with the full game. It's exactly what it needs to be.
It's another game that people have like heavily recommended to me to play. Persona 3 and 5. I've never heard about anything about the others, but everybody's just like Persona 3, Persona 5, like you need to play them. So someday I'll get to it. I'm one of those people that's usually late to playing games, as there's another one on this list you're going to talk about later. I think you know what it is, but yeah.
Next on my list is one that you are very familiar with. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Absolutely favorite FromSoft game.
So good. It
is so great. When you really get the rhythm of it down and like the sword dancing, I think it's called, it just feels so nice to play. And it felt good to see them do a upfront story with one of their games.
Well, it was nice too because there was no actual build. Like the notorious thing with like Souls games is like, what's your build? What's the OP build? What's the meta build? What's this? There is no build in Sekiro. It's get good or die trying. Like that's Yeah, that game is amazing. The first time I played it really made my blood pressure go, but other than that, it's pretty easy for me now. I don't want to be that guy, but yeah.
What I loved about it too is there are so many moments in the game that are just so memorable. Like when you first see the snake.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me? Or the guardian ape the first time after you beat the first phase. Like actual like core memories with that. Like they outdid themselves with that one.
I would oh man, I would pay them money to take out Demon of Hatred. I'd give him every dollar I own.
Dude,
I fucking hate that boss.
Well, luckily it's optional.
I know, but my pride isn't. So it's like when I fought him, I remember I was getting so heated that by the very end, I was getting ready to just like, I was gonna like end everything and just throw my computer out the window. I just couldn't.
I only beat him once. I 100% of that game as well. Luckily it's not the hardest one to 100%, but you do have to beat Demon of Hatred.
I didn't even know Demon of Hatred was the old man.
Oh yeah.
The first time I beat him, I didn't know that. I was like, I hate this guy. And somebody's like, you know that's the same guy. And I was like, I thought about ending him right at the start. I was like, I could just avoid this. Like,
yeah, exactly. But you got to take him out of his misery. That's the whole point of doing it. All right, next. My old addiction, World of Warcraft. I particularly put Wrath of the Lich King up there. That is when it was peak World of Warcraft. Everything before there is really good too, but that is when I played so much. I was young and dumb. I didn't know how to raid properly, but I loved the game so much at that point. Have you ever played World of Warcraft?
Yeah, actually, I stopped after Wrath.
Wrath?
Yeah, the Death Knights were sick. It was the best part because you could skip all the level grind just to get like it was like 50 at the time. Burning Crusade was fun, and then when Wrath of the Lich King came out, I was like, holy crap. It just took the game to a whole different level, and we couldn't even afford the monthly subscription. That I remember I tried doing anything I could to figure out how to last like another month. It was it was nuts.
It really is the best part of the Warcraft story too, like Arthas and becoming the Lich King is because did you ever play Warcraft 3?
No.
Okay, that goes into like the story of this like RTS kind of thing.
I hate RTS games.
Yeah.
That's like I'll play any game, but RTS games, there's something about them that just make my blood boil.
I played it because I got into World of Warcraft, so I kind of went backwards into it just because I want to know like more of the story. And yeah, it goes you play as Arthas becoming I think it's Frozen Throne for Warcraft 3, and that's what like leads to that. And it's just such like an awesome part of that. And I played a lot of Classic too. WoW Classic when the pandemic was going on, that was my jam.
Dude, there's so many friends of mine that were like. They'd hop back in and they're like, I hate this, but bro, it's vanilla. I'm like, dude, stop.
It was the closest we would get, I think, back to those older
childhood days.
Yeah. Next on my 3x3 is Mass Effect 2 particularly. I love all three of the Mass Effect games. Did you play them?
None.
Okay.
That's another game that people have been begging me to play.
That's a trilogy that you should go through. It's a wild time. The first one is a little rough. But 2 is where they really hit their stride. It's where they fixed a lot of the issues. They took out the rover section missions, which were not very good. And it's really where the story starts to develop. I'm not going to give you too much of it because I think that's one you should definitely play.
It's on the list. Like I have so many. The problem is there's just been so many new games coming out that I just haven't had the time to play like older entries. So
luckily, you can get the trilogy all on Steam. I think it's like $60.
I own it.
You do? Oh, so you just haven't played it.
I just haven't played. I bought it because I knew I would love it. And I was just like, someday.
I'm sure you'll like that one as well.
Yeah. Next
up, my GOAT, Modern Warfare 2. It is... My time in school consisted of Wrath of the Lich King and Modern Warfare 2. Like, I think it was late middle school, early high school era. Like, I played both of those so much. Me and my friends would always try to get nukes.
Yep.
That's what we would go for. Like, that was it. And then we'd have like a count. We would have it in our gamer tag description thing that you have in there, your nuke count.
Yep.
Like,
or you go against the sweaty kids that would put USMC in their tags. That were You're like, dude, stop. talk about a generational game in general, because it's 1v1 me and Rust. That phrase has lived on
Absolutely.
forever, and it's still like, if people say it in my comments randomly, they'll be like 1v1 me and Rust. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll shit on you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, then you'd get mad at people for hard scoping and stuff like that. Like,
the quick scoping was really bad in this one.
yeah, that's what people love doing, quick scoping with the intervention, to where anyone will recognize the intervention gun sound.
Yeah.
Like, you put in a video, people will recognize that. You'd probably be able to talk to people about certain aspects of that game through like the actual cycle of like the guns. Like, do you remember when it first came out, the model 1887s?
And they were broken as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like sniper
you could akimbo them, and then from long distance and just freaking annihilate whole teams just running through. Dude, yeah.
Then there's also one-man army noob tubing.
Yes, and that was the most annoying thing on Rust, because you would go to the very top, you would set the flare down so you would respawn, and then just nonstop obliterate everyone until you got the nuke, and then it was GG's.
Yeah, kind of like online gaming history that kind of converged with that game. It was a big moment for that kind of style game.
It was the game that everybody was hooked on. It didn't go on sale ever, and it held its price for years.
Yeah. After that on my list is Halo Reach, and I know you recently went through all the Halo games.
I played Halo Reach for the first time this year. I'd never played a single Halo game. I know there's a ton of games I need to go through. I do go through them eventually, but yeah, Halo Reach, that will make any grown man cry.
It was such an interesting thing, because you would think, just looking at, like, taking a step back, looking at the Halo games, like, everybody loved Halo 1 through 3 and Master Chief and everything. But Reach might be the best single-player shooter campaign I've ever played.
It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And in fact, every Halo until Reach was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole campaign, the whole series after Reach, because that's 4 came out after.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Mm-hmm.
But Reach was really, like, for me, it was a great end to the original, like, banger lineup.
And it holds up really well, too.
It does. It really does. It looks great. It plays great.
Next up, God, an old classic. Probably my favorite game from my childhood, Sonic Adventure 2. God, what a game. And it is quite possibly the worst mixed game I've ever played in my entire life.
It's loud.
It's loud, but the voices are quiet. You won't understand anything. But it's just a banger. It is so great.
I love that game more than anything. Shadow the Hedgehog is where I got my name from. I played that so much, and then I moved to like Phantasy Star that I took the name and like kept running with it. The Chow Garden.
Oh yeah.
Is slept on in that game. That I sunk hours.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't even tell you what the fuck a chow is. Like, I know I took care of them. I know they look like droplets, you know what I mean? But
yeah, it made them fight each other.
Yeah, dude, but that game was really good. In my opinion, that might be the last amazing Sonic game that we ever got that was 3D. Not saying the other ones aren't good, but I think it was the last amazing one.
So there is the newest one that came out, Frontiers, that people actually like. I don't know if you played it.
I never got a chance to play it, so it could be amazing.
That game was I never played it, but I watched a playthrough of it. That is the weirdest, like, converging of my interests I've ever seen, because there's one boss fight, it just starts up, and Kellen Quinn is doing the vocals on it.
I was about to say, the only thing I know about them is that Kellen Quinn did a song on it, which, for those of you who don't know, he's in a band called Sleeping with Sirens, and great band, and he's a great vocalist, but that was not on my bingo cards for what I expected in
It was so weird. It was that, and then another example that happening, because we were speaking of Halo, is the Halo 2 remaster, where then Misha from Periphery did the music.
I remember, and I commented that on stream. I was like, why does this sound so genty? I was like, this is sick. And then, yeah, it made sense.
But Sonic Adventure 2, like, it has just the best butt rock. It is like live and learn, and
the intro bass riff, bang 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 down.
Yeah, City Escape.
Oh
dude.
my god.
Crush 40 actual gods.
Yep.
And they still do stuff, I think, with Sonic conventions. Like
Really?
I guess so. Like I've seen videos of like them doing stuff.
That
with
would
Sonic.
make sense. Like they were huge. Like everybody loves those songs that love Sonic. You know what I mean? They were just like, oh, this is it.
Only really Sonic had that specific kind of like cringe, awesome butt rock to it. It really made for a very unique, edgy experience.
Yeah.
Last on my 3x3, my favorite Final Fantasy X. I still remember playing it the first time.
It's taking everything in me not to do the Titus laugh. Yeah, the dude, no.
Yeah, that was a great moment too. But I remember when you're in the beginning, still in Xanarkand, and he's like getting ready to like play Blitzball, and then the fucking music starts going. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, dude, it's like, damn it. Yeah, dude, it's so good.
Like that was like, oh, I loved it. Like I'm super excited to play it again because I'm going through the Final Fantasy games, but like that one really, it was what really introduced me to kind of JRPGs and turn-based combat, besides Pokemon, which I think is a little different. But 10-2 is a little interesting, but Final Fantasy X itself was just also another kind of edgy, cringe experience. But
10 would have been on my list, but I already had 7, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to have 2 Final Fantasies and be that guy. But 10 was really special because it was also another monumental jump. Like 7 was to 6, 10 was to 7 through 9. The Aeons were really cool. The only thing that I really, really appreciate about Final Fantasy X, more so than any other Final Fantasy, is it taught me the life lesson that whoever has the most money always wins. Because if you have Yojimbo and you max out, you will one-shot the fuck out of anything.
That's capitalism, baby.
Dude, I learned that lesson. I was like, okay, I will defeat my enemies with capital. Like, yeah, it was...
I'll beat you with my excess of assets.
Yeah, no, fantastic, good, like really good game, and your list was really good too. Obviously, some games I haven't played, 3 of them, but other than that, yeah, those are all great games that I would have also.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you have to say about Persona 5. I personally would start with Persona 5 if you're gonna play any of them, because it just being the unique game that it is, you really will like it or not, but you can't tell until you play it.
I'm waiting for The Witcher 4 to have a release date before I play The Witcher 3, so that I can time it around that and then just kind of go into it and then like, you know, be refreshed and know. And then Mass Effect is like that last one on the burner, but overall, yeah, those are really good games. Well, that's a little bit about us. Obviously, this is the first episode. If you guys want us to talk or cover anything by any means, put it in the comments. Let us know what you think about our list, if you think it's shit, or if you also relate with some of these games on this list.
And maybe just let us know which one of our 3x3s is better. You know, maybe have a little competition.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that mine's a little dated just because of the era and whatnot, but...
Yeah, but you have some classics on there. I have some ones that maybe people might be a little more opinionated about.
Persona 5, I think, is the outlier on yours. Most people would probably be deterred from a game like that, like the average gamer, you know what I mean?
Average, yes, but then there's also people that love Persona.
The diehards, for sure. I'm not saying that the diehards, they would probably kick my ass if I said anything about it.
People
but
also...
Yeah, the average person that just picks up a game is probably going to play it. You know
people have some pretty strong opinions about World of Warcraft. I mean, that's like the era that people like, but there are some strong opinions about World of Warcraft.
Rightfully
too.
so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Especially now.
Yep. Ugh. But thank you guys so much. Like I said, let us know in the comments if you guys have anything you want us to cover or anything like that. And yeah, I'm excited to do the next episode.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.